Race fans, welcome back to the new Smyrna Speedway, our third feature event of the night for June 25th, 2016, the Old School Racing 50-lap Bomber main event. This is the biggest event of the year that these drivers have run, with 24 cars about to make the start for 50 laps. And we have such a wide, diverse range of drivers in this field, ranging from past track champions to some drivers who race in other divisions on this track who has cars for this race, and even some dirt drivers who are returning to asphalt after racing for so many years. Or not so many years, but just for a while now. And we're going to start with the starting grid. On the pole position in car number 58, not driving the big body Monte Carlo that he drove last year, that's James Skinner. And to his outside in car number 10, he's already won a feature event this year, that's Joe Hamilton. Row 2 on the inside of the 03, it is Aaron Overman. And to his outside of the 60, that is Matthew Bonner. Third row at car number 81, 2014 Strictly Stock Track champion, marking his official return to the new Smyrna Speedway, it's James Barron. And outside of him with a 00, it's Matt Thornton. Fourth row on the inside in that car number 33. He normally races out here in the Mod Minis, but $700 was just too much for him to pass up. It's Brad Blanton. And on the outside of him with a 00R, another Mod Mini driver, that is David Russell. Following them in that 8 car, he also has a modified that he runs out here. That's Greg Bruce. And at his outside in the 37, that's Charlie King Jr. Then we're going to have the 55 of Richard Roark. And behind him on the inside in the 07, that's Michael Scannell. Outside of him with the 33B, that is Danny Brown. Then they're going to be followed by on the inside of that row, Keith Krause in the 83. And the outside of him in the 89 car, a name that hasn't been out here in a while, that's William Hindman. They're going to follow that up with the 63. He's already won 2 features this year, one by actually winning the race and one by a disqualification. That's Zachary Curtis. And to his outside in the 33D, that is Dustin Higdon. They're going to follow that up with the 54 car, another driver who took a break to run some dirt, and now he's back. It's Billy Barrington. And at his outside in the 24, she's already won 2 features this year. It's Megan Matheny. Behind her, it's going to be the 11 of Ralph Jones, a late entry for this race, and the 46 car of Joe Rock driving that Cole Trickle throwback car. In the 21X, it's going to be Mac MacDonald, and in the 4Q, that bright pink car, you can't miss it no matter how hard you try. It's Ron McCreary. This is going to be quite the race to watch. Biggest race of the year for these guys. A $700 prize. These guys are going to be going at each other's necks throughout the whole night. Of course, there's going to be those drivers who can't make it out tonight. The 132 of Frank Budd in the 00JR, another past feature winner, Eric Hodge. 2 of them tangled in a wreck in practice and were unable to make the start. And a third driver had issues with his pickup truck coming to the track and was also unable to start. The engines have fired. You have everything from the metric Monte Carlo of Aaron Overman down to the little 4-bangers like Billy Barrington Chevy Cavalier number 54 car. Ready to go for 50 laps. This is going to be quite the race. Now, one thing I want to actually point here out as a note, if you want to run the bomber cars, you can run a Mustang, but it has to be a 6-cylinder Mustang, because Megan Matheny is running a 6-cylinder Mustang, and if you run an 8-cylinder Mustang, you have an 8-cylinder Mustang, you can't run it out here. It'll be listed as a sports car. I'd also like to give a big shout out to Megan Matheny's dad for working with the track to help make this event possible tonight, as well as to the Skinner Clean Cut Tree Service for pitching an additional $200 into this purse, because this race was originally $500. And Charlie King Sr. runs a business too, and I think he pitched in some money. So I think it was $100 from Skinner Tree Service and $100 from Charlie King Sr.'s business. Right now, going into this race, Aaron Overman, the 03 car, he has a 35-point lead over the 07 of Michael Scannell, and neither car has been to victory lane this year, so we'll see if either of those cars can get to victory lane. the drivers in this race who have won feature events this year, you have Megan Matheny in the 24, you have Joe Hamilton in the 10, Zach Curtis in the 63. He's not here tonight, but the 180 of Richard Tyder has won an event, and also winning a feature race tonight, not able to make the start of the race, that 00 JR of Eric Hodge. This is going to be quite the race. Now that white 33 car of Brad Blanton, that also doubles as a dirt car. So expect him to be tearing up a dirt track near you. All right. And this is also probably going to be the most exciting race of the year. One of the most exciting races of the year that I will get to call. And everybody who's here in person tonight is going to get a treat. And these guys aren't racing in this bomber division for the fame or the glory. The normal feature payout is $125. So these guys just come out here and they do this for fun at the end of the night. And I give major props to these guys. Because this is stock car racing in some of its purest form right here tonight with the bomber division. And these guys are finally getting the spotlight tonight at New Smyrna Speedway. They're getting the love they deserve. The lights are out on the pace car, so that means the next time by, the green flag is going to come out, and we're going to have 50 laps of just pure stock car racing excitement here at NSS. Daytona Dodge pace car is going to come pulling off of the racetrack. Here they come through 3 and 4. They come now through 3 and 4, getting ready. They're ready to get going racing tonight. Here they come at a turn number 4. James Skinner is going to lead them to the green. And we are bomber racing at New Smyrna Speedway. Something goes wrong on the 58. Joe Hamilton gets an amazing start right through turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Barron's going to pull into second. Bonner's going to pull in the third. Side by side now. It's going to be Overman. And it looks like Skinner. Greg Bruce now pulling up here. There's racing going on all over this track. Lap 1 is going to be led by Hamilton. We're going to go 3 wide here with Bonner in the middle, Thornton on the outside. Thornton's going to get third spot. And already this race is off to a great start, and we have a crash. Oh, these guys are crashing. Megan Matheny in the wall. Brad Blanton is involved. Keith Krause. William Hindman was in that scrap too. That 89 car, the hood just went flying up. Wow. William Hindman is pulling behind the wall. He's done for the night. I'm trying to see who else was involved. Megan Matheny comes into the pits in that 24 car with some damage. Looks like Dustin Higdon is in the pits as well. And Brad Blanton in that 33 car is done. Matheny, she has just some friends of hers out here tonight working on that car to get that damage done. Hindman, all they had to do was knock the hood down, and he's back out. And Blanton and Higdon looks like they're going to get some of that damage fixed. 1 lap down, we have 49 to go. Brad Blanton gets the damage on his 33 car fix. He's going to roll back out and rejoin him in the back. James Skinner in the 58 car. Something went wrong on the 58 car. He just did not get going on that start. And he's going to restart now in the 6th position as Megan Matheny gets back out on the track in that 24 car, and so does Higdon. So all 3 of the drivers who are on pit road will eventually get back out there. And I do give Megan Matheny a shot at winning this race. She's another driver I give a big shot at winning. However, in a race like this, is pretty much anybody's game. Right now they're going to run a couple of additional caution laps, it seems, just because they want to make sure all that debris is picked up so we don't have a bigger wreck. And already there's a car pulling up and parking as they're letting some of the other guys go. It was a stop penalty, lose some spots, and that was the 63 of Zach Curtis, who stopped up on the track, and he's going to try and pull back up into his spot. So they're going to try and make sure so they're going to try and sort everything out here with Zach Curtis now. Right now, as they restart, it's going to be Joe Hamilton, Jimmy Barron, Matt Thornton, Zach Curtis, Charlie King Sr., looks to be Bonner, the 60. Then it's going to be Overman, Bruce, Russell. No, that is Bonner. My bad. I messed up. Right now, wow. So first lap of the race, we got done with that, and we had a caution flag. This race is going to become exciting. Right now, they're trying to get everybody in their proper starting spot. So right now, it's Hamilton, Barron, Thornton, Skinner, Curtis, Bruce, King, Bonner, Overman, Russell, McCreary, Brown, Barrington, Roark, MacDonald, Hindman, Krause, Rock, Scannell, Higdon, Jones, Matheny, and Blanton, as they're lined up right now. And they're going to get this race underway. But like I said, they made sure that all the debris was collected, and caution flags normally don't get counted, especially in this division. So they're just running the paces, making sure everybody's in their proper restart positions, as Hyman's going to just keep falling back a bit. And 1 to go signal this time by. Next time they come by, it's going to be green flag. Next time by, that green flag is going to wave. We will be back to bomber racing action here at the New Smyrna Speedway. Right now they're just going to, everybody set up here, ready to go. Yeah, Ron McCreary's moved up some spots since he started towards the back of this field, so he's moved up about mid-pack right now. And a lot of these guys who are in the back, I get some of them shots at moving up to the front. Daytona Dodge pace car is going to pull off of the racetrack. Here we come at a turn number 4. Joe Hamilton is going to lead them to the green. He's going to get a good start, but here comes Jimmy Barron now. We're going to go side by side now as they go through turns 1 and 2. Barron up on the outside, the past track champion, going to get the lead. And Hamilton's going to hold on to it, but Barron's going to stick close. Here comes Zach Curtis now running side by side with Matt Thornton for the third spot. Here comes Barron to the outside. Barron's running side by side for the lead with Joe Hamilton. And here we go now. Oh, beating and banging now. Barron has the lead at the line. We have racing going on all over this racetrack now. Here comes Greg Bruce now sticking his nose in for the lead as they go down the back straightaway. Hamilton still has it, but Barron's still going to get it pretty close. Here comes Curtis now to the inside of Thornton for that 4th spot. Curtis is going to pull up into 4th. Here we go now. We could go 3 wide for the lead here. Hamilton still has it. But here comes Bruce and Barron. Ron McCreary in that pick number 4 car is moving pretty quick, and Jimmy Barron has the lead as they come out of 2. Down the back straightaway they go. Here comes Joe Hamilton trying to stick close here to the early going to this 50-lap bomber race. Hamilton's going to fall back as Greg Bruce is pulling up into 2nd. Maybe he's going to run side by side with Zach Curtis now, trying to stay in that third spot. And he pulls back into fourth now. Here comes Mercury going up pretty high up on this racetrack right now, as Skinner almost gets loose making contact there. Here comes Mercury now in the 4 car, going up to the outside of Thornton, trying to get the 5th spot. Barron has the lead. Barron gets knocked loose. Barron almost spins and he saves it. He's going to lose a few spots, and Zach Curtis is going to get the lead. No, Ron McCreary is going to come out of nowhere and take the lead. That bright pink number 4 of Ron McCreary, and an engine is gone on the back straightaway in the 11 of Ralph Jones. Smoke is coming out of the rear end of that 11 car. And Ron McCreary is going to come to the line, the leader of this race. But here comes Zach Curtis in the 63 car, who does not want, who wants to get this race. $700 is on the line. So the 11 of Jones is going to come pulling off of the racetrack, and another car is pulling off the track too. Can't tell who that is. And it's Jimmy Barron. Jimmy Barron's pulled off the track. Anyway, here comes Zach Curtis now trying to the lead. He doesn't get it off the McCreary. But Curtis is going to try again now as they come at it too. Curtis is trying to get that lead from McCreary. Here comes Greg Bruce now getting involved in this. Side by side, they are for second. And here they go now, coming up with some black traffic in the form of Michael Scannell in that 07 car. And here we go. Greg Bruce to the outside. Greg Bruce gets the lead by the nose of his car at the line as they get around that lap car of Scannell. Now here comes Bruce to the outside, Curtis to the inside. Here they come up with turn 2. McCreary's still going to try and hang on to this lead as much as he can here in that 4 car. And here comes Zach Curtis to the inside. Oh man. McCreary is not going to give up that easy as they go around William Hindman in the 89. And Bruce to the outside again on the backstretch. Not going to happen. And here comes Greg Bruce again trying to the inside. That's not going to happen. Here comes Zach Curtis now trying to the outside of Greg Bruce to get that second spot away. We have a little side-by-side battle going on. Here comes James Skinner now running side-by-side with Charlie King for position. As they come off of 2, Skinner and King are now battling for a spot on the back straightaway here as they come up to Scannell. Lap traffic going to play a factor in this race as the leaders are now motoring their way around Roark and Rock. Zach Curtis gets hung up behind the 2 cars, and that's going to give McCreary and Bruce the opportunity to pull away. Here comes Curtis now in that Saturn number 63. So you have 2 Saturns ganging up on a big body Buick now down the front stretch. McCreary is trying everything he can to try and prevent that 8 car from getting the lead. As the 03 of Overman, your points leader, Aaron Overman, is in the pits. Something has gone amiss on the 03 of Aaron Overman. That's right, your points leader is not going to finish the 50-lap race. And here we go now. More lap traffic in the forms of Dustin Higdon and Brad Blanton. McCreary gets loose. Greg Bruce is going to try to the inside. No. I'll give props to Greg, and Greg Bruce gets loose. And Bruce is going to save it. And he and Zach Curtis are going to run side by side up for second, and Curtis is going to get second away from him. And now they're going to close in on some more slow traffic in the form of Matt Bonner and David Russell. And McCreary is just going to get by him with ease in that 4 car. This is the biggest race of the year for the Bomber Division, so this is going to be a very competitive event. As Zach Curtis now tracking down that bright pink Buick number 4. He wants the lead. He wants this win. All these drivers want to win, especially the ones who are still in contention for this win here tonight. McCurry in that 4 car. Unless something happens, he could run away with this win. And he's trying to hang on here, getting around Keith Krause. But I think the one thing that we should talk about here during this race is definitely the fact that the points leader, Aaron Overman, is not going to finish this race. Greg Bruce gets loose, falls down. Zach Curtis is trying to track down the 4. McCurry pulling away from Zach Curtis. He's using this lap traffic and the bigger motor in his car to his advantage to try and outrun that little 4-cylinder Saturn there, number 63, that belongs to Zach Curtis. And also, by the looks of things, it appears that the 37 of Charlie King pulled off the track at some point during this race as his car is parked over there in the infield. Now McCurry is going to put a lap on Matheny. He's going to go to the inside, and Matheny gets around. Matheny goes up the racetrack. No spin. She's going to keep that car moving. And McCurry is going to put another lap on the 07 of Scannell. So lap traffic is playing a really big factor tonight in this race, it seems, especially for the leader, Ron McCreary, starting towards the back of the field in that bright pink 4 car. And now he could potentially go home $700 richer. Because from second place on back is going to be the standard bomber feature payout. So Zach Curtis, if he finishes in second, is going to get paid $125. And then third on back, like I said, it's the standard bomber payout. Just a look at this little group of cars here. Look at this pack. Whole group of them. Here we go now. Here comes Blanton to the inside of Russell. We have racing going on around this track. Here comes Billy Barrington now to the inside of Blanton. And is he going to get that spot away from Brad Blanton? He's going to come up with 4. Yes, he is. And Matt Thornton in that 0 car is going to try and follow him as much as he can. Still Ron McCurry, followed by Zachary Curtis. And Curtis is not going to let try and track down McCurry, even if it's the last thing he ever does. Pretty soon we're about to reach this halfway mark here as we're coming up to Roark's car, the 55. They're going to get around him easy, and yeah, they're getting around that lap car, that 55 car easily. Zach Curtis is now back where he wants to be, right on that rear bumper of that bright pink number 4 car. Curtis is now going to try to get by him, and oh, we almost had a wreck on the front stretch. Almost had a wreck on the front stretch. Now Curtis is going to start bumping that 4 car now. Halfway marker, we're 25 laps into this 50-lap bomber race as Zach Curtis is going to try and win. Here he goes, working that 4 car up the prairie. I mean, you have to remember there's a whole another half of this race that has to be run. And Curtis is going to try everything he can in that little 4-banger to get around McCreary. Greg Bruce is still in the 3rd spot, and Curtis is going to try again to the inside. Now, there's one advantage to running these little 4-cylinder cars here, that you don't have to let up in the turns. Because Curtis, since he doesn't have to let up in the turns driving that Saturn, to really get up on McCreary in the corners. And we have 2 more drivers exiting this race. The 46 of Joe Rock and the 33B of Danny Brown. Rock is going behind the wall, making his exit official. But Brown, looks to me there's something on that car. Anyway, now here comes McCreary getting by some of the slower traffic, but here comes Zach Curtis not letting up. Caution flag. Caution flag. We have a car spun over in 4. And this can make things interesting, as now they're bunching everybody back up now. the 07 of Michael Scannell, who's second in the points. And because he's second in the points and Aaron Overman's not going to finish this race, he can gain some pretty crucial points now in Overman that he previously never had. But this is interesting because everybody's going to get bunched up now. Everybody's going to have to get doubled up again. And this is going to be interesting to see what happens as Danny Brown now gets back out onto the track in that 33B. Right now, because of everybody's spacing on the track, they're going to have to sort everybody back out and figure out where everybody's going to be at. Because the top three is McCreary, Curtis, and Bruce. And they're just going to get everybody back together again. Now, I do think that the 07 might have dropped a clutch or something. And that's what happened. But Zach Curtis, I got to give the guy props because he's been hanging on as much as he can, knocking around the rear bumper of that 4 car. A car that's much bigger than his little 4-banger here. And this is going to be a fun finish now, because now it looks to be Billy Barrington, and that appears to have pulled up into the 3rd spot in the 54 car. Greg Bruce has fallen into 4th, and here comes Skinner and Roark, Krause, Thornton, Matheny, Hamilton, Blanton, Russell, Bonner, Scannell, and Higdon and Brown appear to be all the remaining drivers on the track, as they're going to give the 1-to-go signal here. Next time by, we're going to go green. And we're going to have to see who's going to win this jump for the lead, because McCreary's choosing the outside line. Curtis is going to the is stuck on the inside line. We're going to have to see who's going to win. Now, while we're doing this race, and before we get back to green, I just want to say, if you want to be in this bomber division here at New Smyrna Speedway, if you want to race, but you're on a budget, bomber racing. NewSmyrnaSpeedway.org. The rules are right there on the track website. It's open to any 4, 6, or 8-cylinder car or truck, front wheel or rear wheel drive. It doesn't matter whether it was made in America or made in Europe or Japan. It doesn't matter. If you can just just read the rules, it's very basic, and you can be out here on this track racing. And the Daytona Dodge pace car is pulling off of the track. Green flag's out. We're back racing. And Zach Curtis is going to get a jump. And McCreary is going to side-by-side they go. Curtis gets the lead. Zachary Curtis gets the lead. And here comes Greg Bruce now coming into second. But McCreary's not going to let him go. And Bruce clears him for second. McCreary falls back to third. Billy Barrington's now in the 4th spot in the 54 car. He's going to try to get to the inside of McCreary now. Now, Zachary Curtis already has 2 feature wins this year in that 63 car, and let's see what he can do here. As him and Greg Bruce are now starting to pull away. They're done. They are pulling away. And McCreary gets loose and saves it. That was some excellent driving by Ron McCreary to save that car from spinning out in front of Billy Barrington. And Barrington's going to try and stay as close as he can to that 4 car in his 54 machine. As Curtis still has the lead in his Saturns. 2 Saturns up at the front, followed by a Buick, a Cavalier, and a Thunderbird. Only in the bomber division will you see that. Barrington in that 54 car, he's still trying to get around McCreary. Side by side, off down the back straightaway. Here comes Megan Matheny now, passing Richard Roark. She's going to try and get around Keith Krause. Zach Curtis still up front in that 63 car. Here comes Megan Matheny now on the inside, trying to get by Keith Krause. she's trying to get another position, which in this race with this many cars is very crucial, and she gets it. And up front, though, it is still Zachary Curtis in car number 63. Him and Bruce have just checked out from this field. Now we're going to see what happens during the closing stages of this race. If Greg Bruce in that 8 car can probably try and pull it in to that 63 car and see if we can have a Saturn battle for the win here tonight. Now there are so many different cars you can run out here in this Bomber division. Heck, you can even run your grandma's old station wagon if you want. There's one driver out who races out here. It's been a while since he's raced. He races a Saturn station wagon, and he's not here tonight, but it would have been, he's not here tonight, but he usually races a Saturn station wagon. So you can run any car that you want, any car or pickup truck that you want out here in this division. As long as it's not like a Durango or anything. Up front, still Zach Curtis in that Saturn number 63, but Greg Bruce is trying to close that gap with each lap. Ron McCreary in that 4 car dominated the first half, and now the second half of this race is being dominated by Zach Curtis. So as I said, the winner of this race is going to leave this track $700 richer. Here comes Joe Hamilton now and James Skinner battling for a spot. Lap traffic. Now what I was saying at the beginning is some of these drivers here race dirt. Some of these, first Billy Barrington, Dustin Higdon, they are dirt track racers. Danny Brown, big-time dirt track racer. I believe this is his first race ever on asphalt in that 33B car. And Billy Barrington used to race out here at New Smyrna a lot, and then he just started racing dirt. Brad Blanton in that 33 car, he normally raced here at New Smyrna Speedway in the Mod Mini division, but his white number 33 car, that also doubles as a dirt car. So you can expect to see Blanton at a dirt track near you sometime in the near future. And the 60 of Matthew Bonner, he's been on here a couple of times. That's also a dirt car. Richard Roark, he's another dirt track racer. And look at this here, a big group of cars, lap cars that our leaders have to just kind of navigate their way through up here at the front. Oh, man. But still, up at the front, yeah, Curtis and Bruce here are running away with this, so we got a couple of lap cars that Ron McCreary still has to get around. It gets a little bit loose. We have a car pulling off of the track here. Let me just try and make out the number. That is the 58 of James Skinner. He's got a problem here as he's pulling off of the racetrack. Last year, when he drove that big body Monte Carlo, him and Aaron Overman were in a pretty exciting points battle throughout much of the year, but that resulted in Overman winning, and we have a car slowing down almost to a halt up here on the front straightaway. That's the 00R of David Russell. He's going to get that car up and rolling again. Problems for Russell. And Megan Matheny, problems again on that 24 car. She's going to pull into the pit lane again. James Skinner's going to go behind the wall. His night is done. So more problems for the Mustang number 24 of Megan Matheny. Curtis still has the lead. Gregory Bruce now is just trying to close that gap in on him. Slowly but surely, lap after lap, he's going to try his hardest to try and get around to that Curtis. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what they do here. Now, well, Barrington got up on the wall there over in between 1 and 2. It almost spun, but now he's going to keep that car straight and just keep it running. Keep that car running straight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're reaching crunch time here at the new Smyrna Speedway. And when I say crunch time, I mean it big time. Down the front stretch they go. Zachary Curtis is going to come out of turn number 4 to the line. As we're nearing the closing stages of the Bomber 50 here at New Smyrna Speedway, Curtis goes down the back stretch, putting another lap there on Keith Krause. And Greg Bruce gets a little loose sideways through 3 and 4, and that's gonna give Curtis the ability to extend his lead over Bruce. And we have one more race after this still. That is the Super Stocks. Super Stocks are coming up next after this. And that should be a good race too. All right, white flag is out. Final lap here on the Bomber 50. All Zach Curtis has to do is complete one more time around this half-mile track without any problems, and he'll win the biggest race of the year for the Bombers. Zach Curtis in car number 63 is going to come through 3 and 4, and he is going to come to the line, checkered in hand, and Zachary Curtis wins the Bomber 50 at New Smyrna Speedway. He's going home with $700. Greg Bruce is going to come in second, Ron McCreary in third. As the rest of the cars in this field are just going to cross the checkered flag. And we are just... Zach Curtis on the cool down lap, coming down the back stretch, and he is going to come rolling around here. Ladies and gentlemen, Zachary Curtis is coming out of turn number 4 on his cool down lap, and he is going to make his way to the Hampton in victory lane, and he's going to be there now. Zach Curtis pulling into the Hampton in victory lane, his third feature win of the year in the Bomber division, and he won the biggest race of the year for these guys. 50 laps, $700 prize. Big props to him. Congratulations, Zachary Curtis. And here he comes out of the car, ladies and gentlemen.
great to beat old Ron McCurry, you know. He's the one to beat in these big races like that. I guess I got him there towards the end on that restart.